Let me make one thing clear. It is not the fantasy news should flow. It's not the fantasy news may flow. The fantasy news must flow. I put on Twitter that I felt sick today, and loads of you were like, don't worry, take the day off. Goblins. It is not an option. The fantasy news must flow. Honestly, if I was like 5% more sick, it would not be flowing, but I'm right on that line. Ooh, welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your disheveled sick goblin host, Daniel Green, and today we actually have a spectacular lineup of fantasy news to get through. I was really struggling with the last fantasy news, and the numbers on it reflect that, but for some reason today, maybe it's the cold medicine, maybe it's the fact I just slept for 12 hours, but the fantasy news is about to fire off like 1,000 firecrackers. Okay, my throat already hurts. Now we are going to be kicking off today's fantasy news by talking about the fact that there is 2 new special editions for the first book in the First Law trilogy, The Blade itself. The standard edition, which is actually my preferred edition, comes with this incredible illustrated artwork by Tommy Arnold, and wow, it seems to be one of those luxury items that just ooh, that's pretty. The pre-order price will be about £200 and the published price will be $215. But if that is not exclusive enough for you, there's also going to be a limited lettered edition that is going to cost substantially more and looks much more similar to the Cosmere leather bounds. Now this lettered edition is going to come in at a whopping £2,300 pre-published and $2,350 if there's any left past the pre-order. There's also kind of a middle ground here with a numbered edition that comes at £550, and they all have these different looks. It just kind of comes down to what you want to pay. Personally, I actually just like the standard edition the most. It looks fantastic to me and jumps out in the shelf more.
I could also just never justify those higher price tags, no way.
If you'd like to see the details and goodies you get with each one though, of course there's far more what I'm going to be able to cover here, so check the link right down there. That happens to be just below the like button. Maybe you could press that. But continuing on the special limited edition news, we also had Subterranean Presses announcing that there is going to be a run for Project Hail Mary, the latest Andy Weir release, and this will be released May 9th, 2022 at 12 p.m. EDT. I feel like I don't need to go in as detailed here because I assume most of you at this point get Subterranean Press's deal. But in the last bit of new book release edition news, we also had a new run announced for the Witcher series that is not going to be taking its look from the live action show and instead just coming more with that common all-white minimal art style appeal we see so many series have, and does just feel appropriate to Witcher have its own edition in. Maybe I'm alone in that, but every time I see like a new trend arise in book covers, it seems like a lot of published series will then go back and re-release to fit that. I assume just because they wanted people who have the option for their shelf to like fully embrace one look to go for, but I don't mind these at all. I don't think they're my favorite Witcher covers, that still goes to this, but they're totally fine. And if you're one of those people who really likes that minimal white cover look, totally up your alley. But let's go ahead and just knock the last bit of Witcher news out of the way because we've also had a rumored title leak for the next upcoming Witcher animated movie, and this is going to be The Witcher: Sirens of the Deep. This is medicine I'm drinking right now. It's medicated. It's not good. But this mug is good. Thank you, Matt Hatch. I love you forever. This immediately sparks my interest because I'm just a really big fan of stories around sirens, and that's just cool. I liked The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, I think it was called. It was, I remembered right. Yeah! I didn't love it though, but that does not give me any reason to think this one couldn't be better, and I'm not Witchered out yet, surprisingly, so yay.
And this video is brought to you by Campfire. Do you want to ride a world where kitty cats ride T-Rexes with machine guns? Campfire is a tool that'll help you get there. It provides all kinds of incredible benefits for writers, including map organizers, character relationship builders, these amazing tools to help you overcome writer's block and get the stories percolating in the back of your mind to the page at a price you choose. That's right, you can even compartmentalize and segment out Campfire and just get the things that appeal to you most. Personally, map organization, that appeals to me quite a bit. I'm currently working on a cyberpunk book with vampires, and guess what? Having a tool like this at my disposal helps you get higher quality writing faster. Love having sponsors like this in the channel, and Campfire's been the most frequent and supportive sponsor of my entire career. I have never heard anyone in the entire Goblin clan say they regret trying out Campfire. So if you would like to do so today, check out the link in the description down below, and you too can start writing your world as efficiently as possible. God, what would Tolkien have been able to write if he had Campfire?
Discworld news has dropped, and as a mega Discworld fan myself, I am very excited to tell you all that finally, Random Penguin House is going to be bringing us a whole new series of Discworld audiobooks with a fresh cast for you to listen to. This has actually been a personal problem in my life because my father only really listens to fantasy and sci-fi books, and I've been trying desperately to get him into Discworld, and now we can officially get there. Hells to the yes. This is going to feature 40 Discworld books containing over 4 million words, recorded over 135 days, featuring over 420 hours of finished story. God, I love Discworld. If you're going to use this as an excuse to get into Discworld, there's so many wonderful places to start, either the witches, guards, the death stories, even just start with small gods. It's just, oh, this is such good news. Publication has already begun for some of these, and they're going to continue to publish more Discworld books throughout 2022, so we can just, as a community, love and enjoy Terry Pratchett's whimsical, absurdist, GOAT fantasy series. I'm so happy. And literally as I was recording this, we had a massive Game of Thrones drop. Boy, am I happy I didn't finish recording, so I didn't have to do this over the phone. Wonderful. The House of the Dragon Twitter account officially twattered out, "History does not remember blood. It remembers names." And this came along with our first teaser trailer for House of the Dragon. Or full trailer, I don't even know anymore. There's teaser trailers. I've seen teasers for teaser trailers and then stills for teasers of trailers. What is the marketing age we live in, really? What I will say though is I don't think this looked bad. I'm just a little nervous that 10 years from now, A Song of Ice and Fire will be kind of treated like Star Wars, or there's just more and more content continually pumped out. That's making me a bit nervous, but I do not want to be a negative Nancy, and I'm hoping this will turn out to be great. Hence the video where I was like, what if it's good? Because so many people seemed so down on it before it's even out. I'm not the most hyped. I'd say I'm roughly the same level of hyped as I am for the Lord of the Rings TV show over at Amazon. I'm like, I'm kind of both of them. They could be good, they could be worse, but I want that feeling of hype back. I really do. It's just been shit on really hard recently. And you've already seen it, so I'm just gonna mention it briefly. We've had the Obi-Wan trailer drop as well, and speaking of Star Wars and stuff that's being milked for content, a lot of people seem really hyped for this, and I'd be lying if I said I'm above that. There's a level of nostalgia for me with Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan where even me, the person who's kind of obnoxiously anti-Star Wars, it's why I don't talk about it a whole lot, because there's so many people who already fill that void. I don't feel like I'm adding anything by talking about it, but yeah, Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan definitely at least makes me kind of go like, hello there. But where are my fellow vampire fans at? Because we had a trailer drop for V Rising, official Build Your Castle trailer. Apparently there's gonna be a game that revolves around being okay, I am officially like kind of losing it here. Apparently this is going to be a game that is a survival RPG where you play a vampire trying to build yourself up, and a key part of that is building your castle, because what's a classic vampire without their castle? A homeless guy who just drinks blood, basically, I guess, who can turn into a bat with a severe garlic allergy and wood allergy in specifically the heart. If I do end up playing this, I am 100% going to roleplay it as I am one of the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows. That's just happening. Accept that. That's what it's gonna be for me. And it's never gonna die. We also had images released for the first ever Avatar sequel, the Avatar, The Way of Water, and it looked like Avatar. I don't really know what I was expecting here, but my hope is that they rely way more on just telling a good story than the original one relied on just VFX, because we're all kind of VFX'd out. But I'm definitely not on the train of people who are just assuming that's what the big sales pitch for this is going to be. Obviously in the marketing, they're gonna lean into that because that's what the first movie is known for. Hopefully the actual development of this movie focused more on just let's tell a damn good, interesting story and build an immersive wondrous world. I see a lot of people complaining about this sequel going, why? Like, we already have reached the pinnacle of VFX. 1, no we have not, and 2, I believe it's still possible to create such a immersive, wondrous alien world that you can just be swept up and away in it. Obviously that's not everyone's taste, but I find myself just slightly less knee-jerk reaction no, and more curious of what they're gonna do next. If this second is bad, then like, the next ones are whatever, I'm done with them, but I'm willing to give this Avatar sequel a shot. Let me know if you are in the comments down below, because I'm curious about that. And while you're commenting down there, maybe you could click the link to check out my book. Ooh. And I hate to end on a negative note, but the bad news for Netflix keeps on arising. I'm not going to get into the details of things like lawsuits or all of that, but what I'm going to talk about is from a fan of fantasy perspective. This is worrisome because they have the rights and plans to make a lot of fantasy adaptations, and the more their wallet is hit, the less money is obviously going to be allocated for a lot of these projects. You've already seen them canceling things left and right, like most notably for me, at least in my fandom, it seems from the comment sections, the Bone adaptation nixed. And that means, of course, the One Piece adaptation that's being worked on hopefully is late enough in development that this will not affect them. They've had their money, Netflix can't pull any of it back, but good lord, does this seem to be putting more pressure on One Piece. I've actually spent a lot of time thinking about this, and One Piece should not be underestimated. It is an incredibly valuable IP, and if they're able to pull off a hit with it, I fully believe a live-action One Piece show, if it's great, could help Netflix in a lot of ways, because the international market has been one they've struggled with a little bit, and if it brings in just a whole new wave of anime fans, that could boost their numbers enough to actually help. People forget that one IP really can carry a streaming service. But what I would like to say most here is my doubts are rising. Netflix, I don't think is going to be as extreme as some people are saying. Like, I'm seeing some people say they're going to be bought out. No, I just think they're now going to be relegated to more fighting in the actual crowd. It's like in Mario Kart, you started way ahead, it's good, but then you get hit with a few items and you start pulling back to the pack, and suddenly you're in a really tough race to get back to that #1 spot. Netflix is now there, and the competition of things like Hulu, Disney Plus bundling together and having ESPN thrown in, HBO just coming out with amazing things left and right, Amazon's value for each customer. Netflix is in the fight for its life. I think it'll be fine. It's not going to go the way of the blockbuster, but I'm more interested than ever in the streaming wars right now. We are in the zenith. All right, everyone, that's pretty much as much energy I had in me today. I am struggling here and genuinely feverish. So please go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not already. Check out my books and merch if you'd like to support what I do here, as well as the Patreon, and have a magnificent, beautiful day. I just want to give everyone a reminder that there is more love than hate in this world, despite what a lot of news outlets and things like to focus on. You have people that care about you, and I hope the sun is shining through the clouds for you. Have a good one, y'all. Bye! And I'd like to record a special shout out to my latest high-tier patrons, Vincent Guro, the saddest tadpole, and Nico.